Hey everyone, I'm here with a quick video on Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The young lady, by the time they found her, she would have been 15 years old, but really she was unalived at just 14 years old and found in the trunk of the singer's David's car. Now they found a video that neighbors, I guess, submitted. It was from their ring cam, and it was exactly a year ago from the date they found her. So it was from September 8th, 2024, where she was back at her parents' home and she got into a little argument with her neighbors. And they're saying that that was Celeste because they recognized her face from the missing poster videos that was once put up, looking for her. So let me share a screen so we can get more into this story. So Celeste Rivas video of screaming match with neighbors months after gone missing. So let's take a look. I'm gonna have to take the sound off for the very beginning of the video, only because music is playing a little bit. So they're claiming this is Celeste there. This is her neighbors to where her parents live, and they saying that she got into it with the neighbors over, as I mentioned, doing. I'm muted again because the music's gonna stop in a little bit. Let me.
No, you ain't gonna let me talk. Why you not gonna let me talk? You tripping? Nah, you tripping. How about you ain't tripping? You gonna let a woman talk? All right, I'm not gonna let your woman talk.
Why is she over here? Again.
Little house, you don't even got a house.
Hey, bro.
You talk to.
Ain't nobody black right here, homie. We're Southsiders right here, homie. We're Southsiders here. Get it right, homegirl. Shut up with your black talking. Shut up. You talking like you're black, girl, with your black talking. Yeah. Ain't nobody black right here. What are you talking about? I said we're not black over here. Why are you calling us? You keep saying this, we're not black. Let it go. Go back to your house. You ain't gonna do nothing, bro. What you gonna do? You ain't no gangster. You ain't nothing, homie. What you are? What you are but a little girl? What you but a little girl? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
You need to go home. Seriously.
I'm not Mexican. Salvador, you tripping.
Oh my god.
Not you tripping. Move the out of here.
You ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do shit. You better get over there. Get your over there, little girl. Go there, little girl. You ain't gonna do shit. Go. Go. What are you gonna do, bro?
Go call her dad, babe.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, little girl?
Oh, just sad. Celeste Rivas went home to visit her family in Lake Elsinore, California, exactly 1 year before her body was found in David's Tesla. That's what the new video of her arguing with her parents' neighbors seemed to show. The video obtained by TMZ was recorded by a Nets camera on September 8, 2024, months after Celeste had been reported missing. And neighbors say it shows her going off on a family over a prank. In the clip, a family sits outside their apartment building listening to music when Celeste starts yelling, accusing one of the kids of ding-dong ditching her parents' home. While the nighttime video isn't super clear, we're told that the neighbors recognized the girl as Celeste because they seen her face on the missing posters that had gone up in the area back in April 2024. Celeste's high-pitched screams cut through the air as she confronts the family with swear words and perhaps a racial slur, peppering her tirade. You can hear a man yell back, he isn't black, and therefore she couldn't call him the N-word. After this confrontation, we're told the neighbor's boyfriend went to Celeste's house to apologize, and Rivers' dad answered, but he seemed unbothered by the situation. One neighbor told us when Celeste was reported missing in April, her family walked around with those posters, and when the neighboring family saw Celeste that night, they just assumed she had been found and everything was fine. Let's take a listen to this.
Connected to this case of the girl who was found dead in the back of singer David's Tesla.
Celeste Rivas, the 15-year-old.
And everything we're seeing, and we know law enforcement is currently working on this, is that her pattern of running away was a real signal to law enforcement that something they're looking at, that she came from what they're calling a troubled home.
Right. And we have information about how many times she went missing in early 2024. And it definitely paints a picture of someone who was clearly, for whatever reasons, trying to get away from her home. We know that in early 2024, in January, she went missing.
The cops found her in Hollywood, which is interesting because David now is living in Hollywood, but they took her back home where she lives in Lake Elsinore with her family. That's 70 miles from downtown Los Angeles, quite a ways.
Yes, and so she was home for a time, but then went missing again, and at least 2 more times went missing that spring into summer. And as we now know, when her family lost contact with her in May of 2024, that's the last time her mother had contact with her. We know that because we spoke to her mother last week. Information we shared with the police, and then before
which ultimately led them to identify her because she had told us that she had a boyfriend named David, and also this tattoo, and it helped, I think, authorities identify Celeste. Now, we are told at least twice law enforcement in Riverside County got involved in trying to track Celeste down. And as a matter of fact, Evan, her sister also actually started canvassing the neighborhood at one point, looking
No,
for
totally. I think there's been a lot of criticism, at least online, at the family of like why they didn't do anything, why they didn't look for her. But in this instance, I spoke to a owner of a liquor store that's down the street from where Celeste was living in Lake Elsinore. He knew a lot of the kids in the neighborhood, including Celeste and her family, because the bus stop for school was right in front of his liquor store. He said last March 19th, Celeste's sister actually came into his liquor store.
a year ago, Mark.
This is March 2024.
Right.
So came into his liquor store looking for her because she had gone missing, and asked if he could look at his surveillance cameras to see if he saw her leaving. He looked back and saw her at 7 a.m. walking and then running across the street and getting into a car. It was too far, so he couldn't tell what model of the car it was or who was in the car, but he knew Celeste, and he knew that that was her that was leaving. So this was one of the times that she had ran away.
And so one of the things we know, and this we know that law enforcement is looking at, is that how did Celeste kind of traverse Hollywood this way multiple times? And they say she had numerous fake IDs that made her appear older than she actually was.
Which would seem to track with the fact that if she's going to events with David and going into nightclubs, things like that, you would have to be at the very least 18. So that would make sense where they're having fake IDs.
And she looks, I mean, they found her body a day before her 15th birthday. So she was 14.
Right.
And, but she looks older than 14. So it may be just that the appearance may have allowed her with these fake IDs.
Right.
By the way, this is in no way any justification for anything. I mean, it is horrific that, what happened to her. And the timeline of this becomes really, really important because she disappeared. And then the question is, when did she die? If she was killed, when was she killed?
Right.
And, we know the body was badly decomposed.
Right. And remember, the body was discovered in the Tesla in that impound yard on September 8th.
No, I believe it was the 5th because it was over the weekend.
They discovered the body on Monday the 8th in the impound yard, but the car had been towed there on the 5th.
It had been abandoned for more than 3 days on a residential street in the Hollywood Hills near where David was staying.
So at some point that week before the 5th is when
but the question is
the body would have been placed in the car.
The question is when.
Abandoned.
Now, there is a video going around, and the video is a concert that David had
on August either 23rd or 24th in Silver Springs, Maryland. the video is going around online. People are looking at this because there's a woman in the balcony who David actually acknowledges at one point that some people think is Celeste. And the reason they're zeroing in on that is because it closes that it would, if it were her, close the window of time dramatically for when she was killed. It would be sometime between the 24th and September, 3rd, 4th, or 5th.
So when you look at the picture, there is a similarity.
There's a similarity.
And the other thing that is interesting is she's wearing a black tube top. That is what
the police said, or the medical examiner actually
she
said.
was wearing when they discovered her body in the Tesla. So, there are similarities in this picture for sure. And there are people who believe that it's Celeste. Now, we have a source connected to the case who is saying that is not Celeste.
Right. And so if that is not Celeste, it really doesn't it doesn't add any information as far as when she was killed. And at this point, we're, still waiting for the police to give us some more information. We know that yesterday they did return Celeste's body to her family, which if they're doing that, that certainly means
they've completed their investigation.
They've done all the tests that they're going to do.
And I will say this, a lot of people are wondering how could the body be this badly decomposed, especially if it was a short period of time?
Right.
Because the thing everybody's wondering is, how does a body end up in his Tesla where it's just parked on a residential street that's fairly busy and trafficked?
As far as the decomposition, it doesn't have to be necessarily a very long time that the body was in there, because
it was very hot in LA,
and it's sitting in the trunk of a black car here in Los Angeles
for more than 3 days.
Right.
At least more than it could have been longer than that.
Right.
But we know it was more than 3 days. And so, the court, look, real talk here. The medical examiner and the police are unusually quiet in this case.
Yeah.
And we have covered many, many cases with LAPD over 20 years. And, they do hold their cards close to the vest, but there's wiggle room there. People talk. Nobody's
talking this time.
Nobody is talking. And it's just really unusual how they're playing this case.
Yeah, definitely.
They have not said yet if they have a suspect. They certainly haven't announced it publicly. That doesn't mean they don't have one, but they haven't announced.
But they're not sharing. And it's almost like they want to make sure they have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and they're not sharing any.
Or they don't know.
Or they don't know anything at all yet, which, wow, with all the investigation they've done, that would be really shocking.
There are some just odd things in this case.
Yeah.
Very odd, and odd that no one has been arrested, or they haven't said they brought anybody in really for questioning on that level. Very odd. But I do hope there's justice for Celeste and her family in this particular case. So the date of the video, September 8th, is notable, and that would have been the day after Celeste's 14th birthday, and exactly 1 year before authorities opened the trunk of Davis' impounded Tesla to discover her remains. As we reported, Rivas' death certificate was released Monday, revealing she was not pregnant. I was thinking, perhaps maybe she was pregnant, but she was not pregnant, as some people have speculated. However, the cause of death had been deferred, and the LAPD Captain Scott Williams tells us that information is critical to the progress of their investigation. So they really, until the medical examiner tells us her cause of death, I guess they can't move forward. And for anybody saying, I can't charge you with a murder if I don't know that she died of, being murdered, or versus maybe an overdose or something like that. Anyway, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Let me know your thoughts on this situation. Everybody, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts. You saw the video of her perhaps being home. I think she was a runaway, that she left, she came back, she left and came back, and then unfortunately she couldn't come back this one last time because she lost her life. and we don't know how as of this moment. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit the like button. I'll see you on the next video.